All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the TSJW Network exclusives. We got another one right here. We have these with the championship coaches of the MSAHA, and this time we've got Coach Cliff Jenkins, the head coach of the Laurel Knighthawks boys teams. But his 18U team won the championship this year for the second straight year, getting the back-to-back title this year. And so, Coach Cliff, thank you for joining us.
Man, glad to be here, Trellis. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So you guys were defending champions over the course of this year, and so you guys had the target on your backs throughout the year. Everybody was focusing on beating you guys. So going into the season, what was your message to the guys with those kind of expectations?
You know, man, going into every season, the one thing I try to get the guys to understand is, perfect seasons are, man, those are great. Those are kind of dream seasons. That's not normal. It's not a normal reality. And so be prepared for some losses. And one of the things that I kind of pregame with every game is every game on our schedule is a loss until we actually go win it. Because nobody's just going to give you a win. And so, we try to focus on that one game at a time. Every game's a loss until we actually go execute and win it. And then also we try not to we try to focus on not riding the waves of the ups and downs during season. One of our mottos is we're playing for February. We're playing for that end of season tournament. And so this year we knew we had the target on our back. We worked hard. We talked about that a lot in practice. It's hard when you've got to prepare for every team that's coming that's going to give you their best game every time you see them. And a lot of times those other teams are preparing for you. They kind of got one target that they're focusing on. So it makes it difficult, but that also makes it challenging, and that's where you grow, right?
Yeah. For sure. So, and you guys started off pretty strong this year, getting 3 conference wins on the road, beating the Meridian Flyers in Hickory. Then y'all were able to beat the Jackson Victors at the buzzer in Ridgeland, and then you were able to also go to Raymond and get the win by 7 points there against the Muddy River Counselors as well. So those were 3 teams that were really looking to knock you guys off. Y'all are able to get away with those wins there. But you guys did hit a roadblock when y'all faced the PCA Paladins at home right there before Christmas. And PCA, they had a great game. They went up by 25 at one point of the game. They ended up beating you guys by 15. So explain to us what that game ended up meaning to the season overall.
Man, that game kind of solidified something that we kind of felt like was happening. We did have a pretty strong first part of the season. We had a really great opener against Lamar Christian down in Purvis. Boys executed well. We didn't win that game. Fourth quarter, we kind of backed out and tried some other things and some roster substitutions. But first 3 quarters really strong. Played through the early part of the season really strong. Had just a really, really good run going. And around that time, I think I've talked to you about it before, we kind of started seeing kind of some internal, just kind of falling off a little bit. We weren't crisp, we weren't intense, weren't executing well. And man, PCA showed up. They were focused. They were firing on all cylinders. Gabe McDonald he would step across half court and pull shots, and they were just falling. Man, I mean, it was just they came to our gym and just ran us off the floor. That was probably the lowest point that I've seen this group of guys. We were down by, I think you said 25. I think at one point it was if it wasn't 30, it was right at 30, and it was a pretty significant loss there. And So it really solidified for us that, hey, we are not on our A game right now, and so we kind of shifted our focus away from to use an old cliche. We shifted our focus away from the X's and O's and really kind of started focusing on Jimmys and Joes there for a little while, trying to get the guys back up to their potential. So it was an eye opener and kind of a reset button.
Yeah, and so at that point, PCA was able to hold that number one seed in the conference, which they kept till the end there. But also the Meridian Flyers kind of emerged at that point in time in the season too, and went on a run. And they were able to come in and beat you guys there right there in the second half. Were able to make a run there, and I know that was a tough one as you guys had beaten them by 20 at their place, and then they came back and beat you guys by 20 at y'all's place. That turned out to be you guys' last conference loss of the entire season. So, what did you guys take from that game?
Man, that game was just a weird game. It was our senior night. There was a lot of emotion there. There was just I almost maybe a little bit of overconfidence. The guys didn't come out real serious about that game, and you could kind of feel that in the locker room. You could feel it in the first half. We had a team that we were playing that really was a sleeper. Everybody kind of looked at Meridian this year and kind of said, they got Elliott, they got Isaiah, and if you can handle those two guys, you can handle them. And man, they came out in that second half and just absolutely were on fire. Went on a run, played a great game. My heart really goes out to Meridian because I would have loved to have seen where they finished if Elliott had not gotten injured, if he remained healthy. They were really finding their pace and settling in. For us, it was just a reminder that any team can lose on any night, and I think from there it really helped us. We hit that reset with PCA, started working toward it, but I really think that game was probably where the corner turned, where we started really getting back on the upswing.
Yeah. And so then you guys went to the district tournament, came away 3-1, with your only loss being against the Little Rock Flames, who ended up winning the tournament. Very good team there. So really a successful go there at the tournament. You're able to get y'all's first win against PCA at that point in time. Also were able to beat the Jackson Victors as well as I believe the Southwest Louisiana Knights. So what did your team take away from that tournament?
I'll tell you what we took away. In that Little Rock game, we had played Little Rock in the Mississippi-Arkansas cross-state tournament. And it was a 20, 25 point game most of the game. We just didn't do well against them. And man, for the first three quarters, we probably led that game as much as Little Rock did. I don't have the exact figures, but we had just a really strong showing there. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, we've played Little Rock before. I'm not sure that this coach is playing his first string right now. Maybe he's saving them for some tougher games later or whatever. And at one point, we had taken the lead. I think we had gotten up by 6 or 7 or something like that. He called a timeout, and I just happened to glance down there, and their coach he's coaching. He's slapping clipboards and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, hey, this guy's really playing, and I got to watching our guys and the execution and how they were playing. And it was the first time since the first few weeks of season that the guys just kind of really showed up. And man, it was just like a switch flipped. All of a sudden, they were playing to their potential, and the rest of that tournament, and in fact, the rest of the season, they just kept that spark going. So it was a big it was a big moment for us against that Little Rock team, and then the wins that we got after.
Yeah. And so after that, of course, the MSAHA playoffs rolled around. You guys held the number 2 seed right under the PCA Paladins. You guys were able to win the first game against the Meridian Flyers. Of course, as we've mentioned, they were shorthanded, so you're able to kind of get have a little bit of an easier go through that one. But then you guys advanced to take on the PCA Paladins, and that one ended up being an overtime thriller. So if you could take us through that game, that'd be good.
Oh, man. It's kind of a blur, kind of in the moment. But we, if I remember right, I think that was the 4th time that we had played PCA. Is that right? Twice regular season.
That's right.
Monroe, and then first game there. So that was the fourth time we played them. And man, it is hard when you've got a team that you're fairly evenly matched with. It's hard to just consistently get the win. And so we had been working on some wrinkles to our defense to try to specifically engage them. I mean, we knew that was going to be the team most likely that we were going to have to beat in the tournament, and so we were executing pretty well early. As the game went on, they did what PCA always does. They stayed with their game plan. They kind of started creeping back into the game. Got it tied up there, and we ended up going into overtime. And I'm trying to remember. It seems like we may even have been behind at one point, and we may have been the team that tied it. I really can't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know it was close, pretty intense game there. And man, going into overtime, we really had to talk to the guys, calm them down, get them focused, get them settled in, and couldn't be more proud of them. Man, they went out and they did what these boys always do, and that is somehow find a way to pull it out. It may not be pretty, but somehow they find a way to pull it out.
So yeah, and that goes right into the with the championship game as well, because you guys were in another one of those close games that you're able to pull out. Of course, the championship game was a lot higher pace with the 70-64 finish in regulation as opposed to a 62-61 overtime game. But that was just a really good game. Very, very, very good execution from both teams, I saw. But you're able to pull it out at the end. Take us through that championship game.
So, one of the things that we had been really having to work on, we tend to run just because of our personnel, our manpower. Not a high pressure game. Not a lot of pressing. Not a lot of high pressure man to man defense. We try to stay back into a zone which was more comfortable for us, and then utilize some of the speed that we had to try to cover outside shooters. And coming into the tournament, we were trying to force our guys to extend a little bit more. And as we were doing that, PCA started making this adjustment where they started really trying to isolate with their point guard and really trying to drive him. And my fear in that was if Kai or Caleb or Eli, any of those three guys are likely to get into foul trouble against that. If they get into foul trouble, then it's going to be a long day, So we really spent some time just trying to work on that, trying to prepare for that, and sure enough, that came up in those games, especially that Saturday game. Man, the pace just got insane. I could not be more proud of the way our guys handled it, the way they executed on that. We did something that was completely uncharacteristic for us. I would dare say that there's probably not been a pregame at any point in time during this season when a coach told his team, "Hey, you got to watch for Laurel's man-to-man defense because they're probably going to go into it because we just don't run it."
Yeah.
But we had been preparing, and we pulled it out of the bag, because we had to stop that isolation, that spread, and that isolation, and they handled the change. They did the uncomfortable things. They executed it well, and thankfully, it worked to our favor this time. I'll say this about PCA and Coach Chris, man. They have got a fantastic program down there, and some fantastic athletes. I have enjoyed playing them every time we've had the opportunity to play them because you always know it's going to be a game. There's not going to be any possessions where anybody's sitting back.
Yeah, for sure, and they're supposed to be able to come back with a strong group again next year. So those guys will still they'll be coming back going hard. So my last question, of course, is obviously, so this season you announced that it would be your last season as head coach of the Laurel Knighthawks. So if you could just tell us what it meant to you to coach this team all these years with all the successes you've had with the Knighthawks.
Yeah, man. These group of guys, I kind of tell them they're my guys. We've been together really since they were probably 6th or 7th grade. Going back, I don't know exactly how far back, but man, it's kind of like coaching my own boys. We've spent so much time together. Yeah. They're good guys. They got a lot of great potential ahead of them. I'm thankful that we were able to have the successes that we had. I'm thankful that we had the losses that we had too. There's been a lot of character moments, a lot of teaching moments. If I had to do it over again, I don't know that I'd pick a different group of guys. It's just been one of the highlights of my life, and I hope for them it's been a positive thing as well.
Yeah, and of course, over the course of the time, I know you're able to coach both of your sons, and yes. And they both were big time players for you, and you're able to win 2 championships there with Caleb in his junior and senior year. So I know that's special for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and on a personal note, I just want to say, as myself, I've definitely appreciated you, and also Coach Scott Sherman as well, for that matter. But just appreciate you helping me get into doing this media stuff with the MSAHA, because you're a huge part of being able to get it done. So I very much appreciate you for that.
Well, hey, me personally, appreciate you and your family, everything that y'all do and will continue to do, and appreciate what you've done for MSAHA, because something like this really helps to kind of put it on the map. So it's awesome to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you very much. So thank you, Coach, for joining us for the interview.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me. I always enjoy it.
Oh yeah, and thank you all for joining us once again. That was a TSJW Network exclusive, and hopefully we have some more coming up as well. So thank you for joining us. I'm Trellis Williams, and we out.